How to set up our side control pressure properly. I'm sweeping, so let's say I don't have my crossface yet, I'm kind of just, maybe I just got here. Can't jam my hand under his head, that doesn't work very good for getting a crossface. So I line my forearm up with his spine, I use my elbow to pinch his ear to his shoulder, and I windshield wiper my hand under his head. Anytime I can get his head to misalign from his spine, it makes the rest of his body pretty weak, okay? So picking his shoulder up just a little bit and putting the middle finger in the crease of the armpit, posting my free hand, rolling my shoulder, and driving my elbow down, not across his face, but against his carotid artery so that I'm controlling his spine. That frees up this hand a little bit to start helping me transition to mount or start isolating arm attacks and neck attacks. So I swim back, and I just look to rotate my hips towards his hips a little bit, just to get his hips to turn slightly to the side. So I can bring my knee up to his tailbone, and what rotating him did was expose his back slightly so that he can't pinch his elbows behind his back, right? So his elbow is now exposed enough for me to come up and block his bottom frame, where I now re-grip my underhook, okay? So now, when I wanna start going to mount, there's a couple different things I can do here. If he's framing off of my neck, I bring an inside tie inside, use it to kind of push his humerus down to the mat, put my ear against his ear, and regather up my crossface. Now I bring my shin across his lap. I start sprawling my hips down to start flattening him out. Look how his knees started to turn to the side because I'm stretching his spine out, not letting him bring this arm back inside. I windshield wiper. If I do it correctly, he can't step over and grab my foot anymore, okay? And then I windshield wiper back and move my hips back on top of his hips, okay? So now I have this Tim's left arm on my right side isolated away from the rest of his body. I post, and I'm using my offset base here to stop him from bridging and shrimping. Maybe during one of those times when he came down, I caught his head and I put my elbow right on his sternum, and this sucks, and it also makes his bridging stop tremendously, right? Slows the efforts of his bridging a lot, okay? So now during one of the times when he bridges or he tries to get on his side, I scoop his arm up, step up, and pinch my knee, stepping about 6 inches away from his back, making sure my knee is pointed in, okay? Taking the cookies out of the oven. So this is actually a good detail that you can tell if you did this correctly. If you watch his hand, he can hug my back right now. Just hug my back. Like, not with both hands, it's hard to reach with that. But look how he can just cut my back with his hand. If I take the cookies out of the oven, watch what it does to his elbow, and now where his hand goes. See how it's down in my pocket now? That's how I know I did a good job with my pressure, okay? Because if I just turn, look how he still hugs my back. So look, I need to change the focal point of my pressure to his elbow. Now his hand goes down in my pocket. So now I have access to his hand for wrist lock, Kimura, straight arm lock, okay? The next thing we're gonna do, I'm framing off of his head, posting my hand on the ground. So this is what I don't wanna do though. When I step forward, I don't wanna step my foot on the ground. I literally wanna go like this. Okay, windshield wipering my foot. Don't let myself fall until I bring my shin across to his neck. Now I don't fall backwards, don't fall back. That's another thing in jiu-jitsu, is not to fall back, but to fall down, okay? If I fall back, I create space that I don't want. A lot of times he's gonna be messing with this foot, whatever, I step on his bicep to limit that. Grabbing my shin, pulling my hip through this hole, trying to make my hips face the ceiling, okay? So not really rotating. Don't rotate like this, that helps him sit up. Keep him flat. Move your hips into this space and start curling your hip to face the ceiling. Okay. The choke, you can cup the head, you can turn and put your shin on top of his throat,